So if you're watching this, then you're probably on your entrepreneurial journey and you found a business model on YouTube that you want to try, but you just don't know where to start. And you've probably heard all these people go, you need to work 12 hours a day, you need to do this, you need to do that. And it's quite annoying because I know when I was beginning, I was like, yeah, but what do I even need to do for 12 hours a day? Like, I don't have a clue. I don't know where to begin. I don't know how to start getting clients. So in this video, I'm going to break down my exact strategy and I'm going to give you some clarity in business and actually show you the main things that you need to focus on. Because really, to actually grow a successful business, then there's two things you need to focus on a daily basis. And if you do these two other things and you cut out all the rest of the other stuff that you don't need, then you're going to be hugely successful. So I'm going to break that down in this video. Because, if you don't have these two things, then you're just going to procrastinate. You're going to focus on the wrong things. You're going to be thinking, I need to get business cards, I need to do that. And the way your mind is actually designed, it's going to get you to do everything except the actual work that you need to do. So what is the two things that you actually need to focus on a daily basis? And it is setting meetings and doing meetings. And I'm going to go in depth on each subject and show you exactly how I do it. And give you a proven framework that's allowed me to grow a business successfully and, actually get some clients, which we're all here to do. So number one, setting meetings. And you're probably thinking, yeah, I know this, but I'm actually going to go in depth and show you what are the best methods and what actually works in 2023 to set meetings and get clients. Because I know when I was starting, I learned most of my stuff from YouTube, but I think YouTube has gone very toxic these days in terms of it's just a lot of people trying to push their business model and what they sell. And as usual, I don't have any course, I don't have anything to sell you, and I will give you my unbiased opinion of which business model is actually going to be best. And whatever you decide to go with, I'm going to give you a framework that's going to allow you to get clients in any of them niches or any sort of business model that you're going at. So some of the best ways that I've found of setting meetings in 2023 that actually work this year and up to date with everything else are direct messaging on LinkedIn or Facebook, and it's cold email, cold calling, and Loom outreach. So I'm going to go into them all in depth. So first off, I want to tell you the truth about email. So email definitely can work for you, and I have definitely set, multiple meetings this month from email, but it is a very rough game, and, don't get disheartened when you don't get even one meeting booked off, 150 to 200 meetings, and it can be more sometimes. Because with email, it does get ignored, it is a lot slower, but it definitely does work. And it also is going to require a lot of time of building up email lists. But if you already have an existing email list for some reason, then this is going to massively help you. And there's some simple things you can do with email to actually generate results. So what I like to do is use something called a soap opera sequence. And this is something I learned from Russell Brunson, and it has been so effective in my business. And when I actually did this and actually integrate this into my email marketing, I see a 50% increase in my meeting set. So what is this? So basically, it's like a 5 email sequence. So what you'll do, you'll build trust and, show what you're like as a person through your ad copy or through the copy that you've written on the email. And it looks something a bit like this. So you'll have email 1. So this is like setting the stage. So this is like introducing yourself. So you might tell an interesting story that goes into the pain points of your niche. So for example, one of my first emails from my Forex business is basically talking about, how the rest of the industry are just trying to scam people and get quick commission, and how over the next few emails, I'm going to share with you some amazing advice for free that most people are charged for. And this is really good because it builds trust initially with them. And what you can do with this as well, you can automate the entire sequence so it just runs on its own. It just generates meetings in the background while you focus on other stuff. Because as I said, with email, this is something you don't want to dedicate too much time to, or if you can, automate it wherever you can, because you need to send a lot of volume to actually get any results from this. So email 1, and that is to set the story. So, introduce yourself. So email 2, and this is where you tell a little story of high drama. So again, I'm going to use my Forex business for example. So in the second email, I was talking about, how I was at the job center when I was 18 and, this terrible experience. And I wrote it very much like as if you're there in the story. I'm describing how bad it is and describing how the place smells and how grey and depressed I was at that point. What this does, it allows you to relate to your potential target audience. For example, my target audience are people that want to make money, want to get into trading online. So I'm saying, showing them my story of how broke I was at one point and how I was able to make some, really good money with trading. And what this is going to do, it goes into the pain points. It's going to get people engaged because you're telling a story. You're not just sending a spammy email, just like, oh, book a call in, inquire with me. We do this, message me. You're actually building a story with them. They're getting to know you, and it just gives you an edge over everyone else who's just sort of cold emailing them with a pitch. So email 3, and this is what Russell Brunson calls the epiphany. So this could be something that, like the great idea you came across, or this way you've making money that no one else knows about and you discovered and you've been helping, lots of people with. So in relation to getting clients, this might be something along the lines of, for example, with my financial advisor niche that I use, that they might not be able to get clients in the past, and they've tried all this different stuff and it didn't work. But now with Facebook ads, you come across this new thing that actually works and is being underutilized, and you explain that to them. Then email 4, and this is the hidden benefits. This is where you reiterate the benefits of your service a bit more and how it can actually help the people who are, listening to this email story. And it's important with these emails as well, you make them very impersonal, you make the subject line very sort of clickable and enticing. So you don't want to be like, free course here or free educational video. What you want to do is create something that's really intriguing. So it might be something that they would see that would be from a friend or something like that. It might say, you're never going to believe this, the subject line. That really gets people to click, because with emails, it's important that you get people to actually click on them, or they're just going to get lost in all the other thousands of emails that everyone gets on a daily basis. And then email 5. And this is the call to action. So this is where you're going to ask them to book in a call with you. So as I'll talk about later in the video, but the way I like to do it, I have a Calendly link and it'll say some sort of 30-minute growth session or discovery call. And in the last email, you really want to drive it home and get them to book in and add some scarcity in this email as well. So you want to be like, we've only got 5 spots available, 10 spots available. We're only offering this price for a certain amount of time. And this is where you're going to see them, start booking in calls and get some results from it. And as I said, this whole sort of 5 email sequence is run in the background. And this is the best way I found, because sort of manually sending emails is very hard at the beginning, as it takes a lot of time. You're not going to get much response out of it. So anywhere you can, if you've got an existing list, or just build up a list of emails and then run them through this sequence, and it's just going to set meetings for you on, in the background where you can do other stuff, and it's all automatic. So method number 2 for setting meetings, and this is cold calling. Now, I know a lot of people are scared of this, and it can be, quite scary at the beginning, but literally it's just a voice on the end of the phone. And once you get good at this, this is probably one of the best ways of setting meetings you could possibly do. Because with this, for example, with email, you might get 1 meeting out of 150, 200 emails, maybe even more. With cold calling, even someone who's pretty bad can get at least 1 meeting for 20 calls. And, that might be a bit of a low figure. Maybe if we take that higher, 30, 40 calls, this is still so effective because it doesn't take that long to get a number. Find it on the website, find it on their LinkedIn profile, find it on their, their Facebook account, and you can ring them quick, and you've got the business owner on the phone. And it's so effective because if you can get your message across how you can actually help that person on the phone, and you've got the business owner engaged right there, you don't have to wait around, you get them to make a decision on the spot, and it's very powerful for booking meetings. And once you get past them first few calls, it literally becomes so easy. It's always going to be awkward. You're always going to feel like you're terrible at first, which I did. You might even be shaking. On my first cold call, I was actually shaking. I was that scared. But once you get past this, you get so good, it gets easy, and you realize just a voice at the end of the phone. And what do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose at all. And it's literally one of the most effective methods. And if you're interested in learning how to cold call, I have got multiple videos on my channel where I actually do it live, so you can see how I do it and what I would say. And I hope that'll help you significantly. Now, the next method for setting meetings in 2023 is Upwork. And this is an absolutely amazing platform. And I don't feel like that many people actually talk about it because it does have a little cost associated with it now. So on Upwork, you have to buy something called Connects, and these allow you to send proposals to job listings. But Upwork's so powerful because it's warm leads already. So the whole reason why cold calling and all that sort of cold outreach is quite tough is because it's coming from a cold front initially. So they don't know who you are, they don't know about your brand or anything like that. But with Upwork, it's people that are actively looking for marketing services, if that's the niche you're in, and they need your services right now. So it's very powerful. If you can send like 10 to 30 proposals out a day, you're definitely going to get a meeting booked. The only thing I would say is with the Connects, you can only send a certain amount out without paying. So yeah, I would definitely think it's worth investing in. I actually got my first client for my agency off Upwork, so it's very powerful, and I would definitely look into that. And another sort of expert tip for you as well is I would set up a client account, so as if you're someone posting a job listing, and look at all the proposals that come your way, and that's going to give you an idea, and find a good one, and you can basically not copy it, but use that as inspiration and use that for your own profile, and then you can use that as a template to send out to other people. And as well, in Upwork, with the job listing, you do get asked that sort of questions that are specific to the job listing, but after a while, they are pretty similar, in some way. So it might take a lot of work at the beginning, but once you've got the answers to them questions, you can have them all on a Google Doc or a spreadsheet or something like that, and you can just answer them a lot quicker. Now, the next method that is, extremely powerful in 2023, and I've seen the evidence for this, but I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't done too much of this. I've definitely sent probably 100 looms out, but I don't actually use this method anymore because it's very time consuming. However, it's very effective. For my niche, it doesn't particularly fit, but for most niches out there, it's one of the best methods. And a loom, essentially, you use Loom, the software. You do a little screen recording of, you might go onto someone's website or their Facebook profile and show them exactly what they could do better, where they're leaving money on the table. And this is very powerful because it's like a personalized message to the business owner. And if you actually get this open by them and they watch this, you've got a very, very high likelihood that you're going to get a meeting set off this. And I would expect, possibly you could get a meeting set for every 10 looms you send out. Now that's that is quite a good figure, and some cases it might be 30 looms you send out, but as I said, it's very powerful. If they actually watch this video, this is probably the highest likelihood that they're going to book a call from that video. Now there's no wrong or right outreach method that you should be using to get clients, but some of the best ones I would definitely say to focus on, and what I would say as well is just focus on 2 of these. Don't try all of them at once because it's going to be quite overwhelming, but cold call is definitely one of the best, and Upwork is very, very good if you're a beginner, because in some niches they say pick a niche and just go for that. But with Upwork, you can't particularly pick a niche because it's going to be all different job listings. So if you're a beginner and you're just going to be a generalist and you can help any client just with your services, it's a very good place to begin. And, it's going to require a lot less sort of grind and outreach to actually get a client that way. And then with cold calling, if you've got the confidence and you're willing to, get rejected multiple times a day until you get good at it, then that is an amazing method I would go for as well. But what you need to figure out is where your actual potential clients, where they hang out. They mostly are on LinkedIn or they're mostly on Facebook or anything like that. Just find out where they are. Instead of swimming against the current, just work with the current, and wherever they are, focus on that. So by now, in your head, you should have sort of picked the 2 that you think you're going to go ahead with. And now we need to reverse engineer the metrics. So as I said, if you choose email, you're probably looking at around about 150 to 200 plus emails to get 1 meeting set. Now, if you're doing cold call and you're probably looking from anywhere, depending on how good you are and depending on your previous level experience, I would say from 1 to 40 cold calls to get 1 meeting. And then with looms, you're looking for anywhere from sort of 10 to 30 looms to set a meeting. And if you are going for direct messaging, I do actually have another video where I show you my exact script and what I say to people on LinkedIn, which I direct message them on. So yeah, that video will be at the bottom somewhere if you want to watch that, and it goes more in depth on that. So now let's move to actually doing meetings. So what you need to figure out as well is it doesn't matter how many meetings you set, you also need to know how many meetings you close. So for example, if your closing rate is 30%, and you'll need to do 100 meetings to get 30 clients. So that's a very unrealistic sort of closing rate, by the way, as well. It's probably going to be a lot lower than that. I think my closing rate is probably like 20%. So you need to reverse engineer that. So once you set in meetings, you then need to work out how many you'll close, and then you can reverse engineer it backwards from there and think, I need to do this amount if I close this amount, and it's going to allow you to work out exactly how much outreach you need to be doing. It's going to give you a clear picture of what you need to be doing on a daily basis. And you could even break it down even further. If if you're planning your days out in sort of hourly blocks, which I do recommend, then you could figure out that it takes me 5 to 10 minutes to send a LinkedIn message. Say it takes 5 minutes, and you can work out I need to send 100 LinkedIn messages a day or 50 LinkedIn messages a day, and you just times that by 5 minutes, and there you've got your answer of how long you need to be working on it a day. And it just give you some real clarity instead of like I remember back in the day, I'll just be jumping in and out. Oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, and procrastinating and actually getting nowhere. So once you just take these figures, know what you need to be doing on a monthly basis, a daily basis, then it makes everything so much easier, and you know what you need to be doing, and you can actually go ahead and actually work 12 hours a day, because you'll probably have 12 hours worth of work when you actually do the reverse engineer and work out the maths of how much volume is actually required to get that amount of clients that you're aiming for. So you're probably thinking, yeah, I've got the method, I know how to set the meetings now, I know what numbers I need to do, how many meetings I need to be setting, but how do I actually close sales calls? So with a sales call, what you need to remember at the beginning, you can either do this over Zoom or phone call. Phone call is actually a lot easier to close a client on, and, this is probably not that popular because a lot of people do Zooms now, and I do Zooms as well, but I find that you can hold the silence a lot better, and it's a lot less awkward when you're on the phone because they can't see you. So, if you're in a bad background as well, because I do recommend that you have a nice, clean sort of background or something that, gives you an authority position on the call, because if you're just in your bedroom and you've got your wardrobe in the back, it doesn't look too professional. And also for doing the meetings, what I would recommend doing is setting up a Calendly account, and this just makes your life a million times easier. I can literally just look on my phone and think, oh, I've got this meeting today at this time, and it just makes everything streamlined. So whenever you're doing your outreach, the goal of the outreach or the call to action should be a Calendly link where they can book in a call with yourself. And I would also recommend asking questions on the Calendly. So it'd be like, what are your monthly revenue goals? How able are you to invest in your business right now? When are you looking to get started? And then why should we work with you? And this just presets the call for a much better start, because you've already got the prospects selling to themselves to you on the questions when you say, like, why should I work with you? So for example, when I get people booking in calls with me, they have to answer a question, why should we work with you? And they're sort of selling themselves to saying like, oh yeah, I'm really good at this, or I'm really friendly with clients, I have this personality, and it just puts the call in such a better state before you even start, because the whole point of sales is to keep the authority position, because when you lose that, you've got a very good chance that you're not going to close that call when the customer feels like they're in charge. So to summarize, you want to have a nice clean background, you want to have a pen and paper ready so you can take notes, and you want to be recording the call definitely, so you can go back and think, what did I say well, what did I not say so well? And this allows you to just get better at sales, because at the end of the day, one of the best skills you could possibly learn in this game is sales. So if you get good at that, you're never going to be poor again. And when you're on the call as well, so you're obviously going to have a script, which I've provided in other YouTube videos if you want to go and find that. But you don't want to look like you're reading from a script. So I've actually had this said to me before in a sales call. They're like, "You're just reading from a script there," and it was so embarrassing. It just throws you off completely. So you really want to practice your script. Make sure you know it well, and don't be flicking. If you're on a Zoom call, of course, don't be flicking through pages. Make sure you have a digital copy, which you can just sort of put in front of the Zoom call on your laptop. Because it does not look well, and they know that they're getting sold to. You're reading a script, and it's so obvious as well. So just make sure it doesn't look like you're reading from script. And just to keep it clear and what you actually need to be saying on the call, all you are doing is getting to describe their current situation, how they're in pain now, how they're currently getting customers, how they're not comfortable with this, and then you bridge the gap of where they want to go, so where they want to be in 12 months, what would this look like for them, how would their life change, and then you offer your solution as a bridge to that gap. This is called consultative selling, and this is the best type of sales, the most science-backed sales you could possibly have, because there's so many things out there, like you need to say this word, you need to do this tonality, you need to raise your tone at the end of the sales call, and all this bullshit, but at the end of the day, you just need to take them from where they are now to where they want to go and bridge that gap with your product or service, and you're going to do absolutely amazing. A lot of people describe this selling method a bit like a doctor. You ask them questions and then you prescribe them your solution. And throughout the call, just make sure you keep the authority position as well. So you do this by, if they start throwing questions at you and stuff like that, just say, okay, and just make sure you get back to your question and keep it on track, and don't get carried away in these sort of big, conversations and things like that about things that don't matter. Just make sure you get back to your script and do it politely. Don't be rude, and never judge the prospect as well. So I hope you like this video, and I'll be making more videos similar to this, but just to summarize, you need to set meetings and do meetings. That's all. Just focus on that, and I've told you the methods of how to set the meetings, and I've told you how to do the calls, and I've also made other videos on sales and what script to use. So just focus on that, and you're going to be so successful with this, and you're actually going to start getting clients. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe.